morning, LinkedIn. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, the world. Coming up on today's show, we have Laurent Notin, a coach, mentor, and trainer. Laurent is a French national who left France at 23, 20 years in Southeast Asia before relocating to Finland in the summer of 2019. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. If you're out there watching, welcome to the show today.
Been busy, haven't we, Andy, recently?
I've been very busy. Like I say, coming up today, obviously, we've got Laurent on the show, who's an expert business coach, mentor, and trainer. So we're looking forward to that. Apologies for anyone who's here to talk to Judith, because she's not very well. So we're sending Judith our...
Get well soon, Judith.
Get well soon. Yes.
Missing you.
So, plenty happening, Ed.
We had a busy day yesterday, Andy, didn't we?
A very busy day. We had an open day in the Cobra Club, free Christmas open day. We were swamped with the amount of people that came through the doors, which was fantastic. But yeah, I think we need to thank some of those people
who did come. Yesterday. It was a great day.
Yeah, so Naomi Johnson, who did a LinkedIn workshop. Ed, obviously, did reception and sales. Logan Blackburn-Issett, thanks, Logan. Social media marketing. Graham Bayliss, who did a fantastic SEO workshop. Louise Maggs, who did a brilliant website tips and tricks. Chris Mason did IT tips and tricks, which was good. Natalie King, who did a goal-setting workshop. Gillian Schofield, who did a copywriting foundation workshop, and Nicholas Holmes, two more actually, Nicholas Holmes, who did a mindfulness relaxation session, and Lamara Craythorne, who did a website conversion workshop.
That's pretty good. And thanks to Andrew Hatcher, who did a wonderful job on reception and also looking after everybody as they came in.
Yeah, it was a good day. So, guys, if you're out there and you're listening, give us a shout out or give yourself a shout out and we'll shout you out online. And if you've got any questions for Laurent, then that'd be good too.
Yes. Pop your questions in the comments.
Yeah. So, Ed, obviously a good day yesterday, but we obviously had a few new members joining. So,
we did.
Yeah, let's hit this button and take it from there. So here we go.
So we were joined by the wonderful Sally Cloak, who's joined Cobra Creative. So welcome, Sally.
Fantastic. Abigail Lutus, Ed.
Yeah, well, Alex McKenna, Matt Mara joined us to our WBHQ as well.
Brilliant. Ian Ferguson. Hello, Ian. I haven't got the clubs they joined, Ed. So.
Oh, I can do that. So Yusuf Safi joined. And I haven't got his club either. But Abigail Lutus, as you just joined, she joined RWB. Chad Anderson joined RWB, which is Royal Wootton Bassett for those people who don't know what RWB is. Ian Ferguson came and joined Cobra Jurassic, so welcome to you, Ian. Kay Ubi came to join RWBHQ, so welcome, Kay. Maxwell McKay came in to join Cobra Express. And Stephanie, as you rightly said, joined RWBHQ. So it's really, really good to see you guys and welcome on board.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So, I think probably what I'm going to do, Ed, is we'll get Laurent on in a moment. But I just wanted to quickly talk about, for all those property and construction people out there, we've got the Property and Construction Club coming up on the 16th of January. So anything to do with property construction, come along. You can find, if you're a member of the club, you're coming free. If you're not a member of the club, you can still come in. You can track down our events on our webpage, www.thecobraclub.co.uk/events. So what I'm going to do, Ed...
We've got lots coming up there, Andy. We've also got the Christmas party coming up soon.
We have got the Christmas party on the 14th of December, 7 p.m. And we got wine and cheese with Louise. Yeah, so... If you're a member of the Cobra Club, make sure you book that one in your diaries. It's going to be fun and games that night. which is good. But let me read this, and then I'm going to roll a VT talking about the property club. And when we come back, Laurent will be in the room. So Laurent's professional background is in market research and advertising, where he ran a small business of up to 150 people across 3 countries. Yeah. Looking forward to finding that out. And he says he's always cared more about others than himself. He's developed a passion for coaching, mentoring, advising, training people throughout the years. Combined with his entrepreneurial mindset, becoming a coach to entrepreneurs just made sense to him. So yeah, and today he says he coaches entrepreneurs and help them tackle the biggest risk they face. So that's going to be interesting to find out what that biggest risk is. I'll leave him to talk about that. So let's get Laurent in after this video. So here we go.
Hi there, Lawrence. How are you?
Hello. I'm very good, thank you.
Who would have thought that property would have such a fantastic soundtrack? I guitar along with it all the way.
Yeah, even more like a movie,
Yeah, it's all good. It's all. But I would say thanks to Hannah for making those. Cocktail Creative, give her a quick shout out. But anyway, back to the main action. Laurent, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yep.
Obviously, you I read that there in your bio. You had a company with 150 employees. Where have you been? What you've been doing, and how has that led to you being a coach, mentor, and trainer?
Okay. So I'm French. I left France 23 years ago to go to Asia. I didn't have a job. I had just finished my military service because at that time in France, I was the last year of mandatory military service. Didn't have a job, couldn't find a job, didn't really know what I wanted to do. And my partner at that time, she found a job in Laos, in Southeast Asia, initially for 9 months. And so I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do it. Let's go to the adventure. And 9 months turned into 7 years in Laos. And then we moved to Cambodia, where we spent another 13 years with 1 year in Vietnam. So in total, 20 years in Southeast Asia. And now I've been living in Finland for 3 years, since July 2019.
That's fantastic.
And no plan to go back to France. And so what happened is when I was in Laos, I started working for this small research company, and they had 10 staff, I think, all local staff, all Laotian staff. And 1 year after I started, I was 24. The owners of the company, they said, well, we're going to move to Cambodia because a lot more things happen over there. We need someone to manage the company. Here are the keys. There you go. It's you. And I was like, great. All right.
What opportunity?
Sorry. Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity, and I will always thank them for that. And so I just took it, and from day one, I really loved the management of the company, managing the company, and this is something that I've always been passionate about, managing companies. And then I moved to Cambodia, where I managed like bigger companies, and I ended up in Vietnam, where like I was like managing a company of 150 people across three countries, all in market research still.
I mean, the IT
Then I
side
moved.
of that must be huge. Just managing those sorts of people across that sort of. And how long ago was that? That was what?
That
10
was
years
like in 2014.
Okay.
But
So
I read.
the comms
Yeah,
is very
but
different for that, isn't it?
yeah, but when I moved from Cambodia to Vietnam, and I was the head of Cambodia, and so I had I replaced myself with someone, and I had someone really really good also in Laos, who was like the country director. So when you have like great teams in countries already with great management, you don't really have to worry too much about what's going on in those countries. My worry was more about what was going on in Vietnam. When I moved to Vietnam, the operations in Vietnam was in really really bad shape, really bad shape.
Oh,
When I arrived, there were like 40 staff. When I left 10 months after, it was down to 19, because there was so, the operations the revenue was so low that I had to make a lot of cuts. But I managed to save the company. The operations in Vietnam is still alive, and it's still managed by a French guy whom I recruited when I left to replace me. But I left because after I gave like something like eight years of my life to this company. I really loved it, but it was too much. It was like a lot of pressure in Vietnam. I didn't see my family also, so I was traveling back and forth between Vietnam and Cambodia, and then I had some issues with the shareholders, and so I decided to leave.
yeah.
And I came back to Cambodia, and then I moved into like advertising industry, and I had the opportunity to get some shares into the company. So that was my first taste, into like entrepreneurship. So before that, I was like always been surrounded by entrepreneurs. I've always worked for entrepreneurs. My best friends are entrepreneurs. My father used to be an entrepreneur. His father used to be an entrepreneur. So it's like entrepreneurs have always been around me. And in October 2017, I decided that I would do something. It was time. So I launched my business, but it took me like maybe 1 year of thinking about it. Like I knew I wanted something. I was reaching the age of 40. I was like, if I don't do it now, I will never ever do it. But I had to find what it is. And while I was like going through that process, I realized that what I had always enjoyed the most when I was, running companies was like the mentoring aspect, the training of the staff, the coaching them, even presenting stuff to clients. I've always loved those moments when you see the sparkles in people's eyes, and you were there to influence them. And so I was like, well, I'm going to be a coach. That's just makes sense. And a coach to entrepreneur, because I speak the language. I know what I'm talking about. I know what it means to be alone when entrepreneurs say they are alone. I know, I know the issues. I have had failures. I had successes. So that's it. Started the adventure as a coach in October 2017 in Cambodia.
Very good. That's
It's interesting when you talk about being alone. As an entrepreneur, you get strong at being alone. So you learn to be alone. So you actually trust yourself, which is quite good. I find it more lonely to work in a team where you're not being used, utilized, respected, etc. But you're together, but that's actually more lonely than actually getting on with yourself. So I think alone is an interesting sort of mindset, isn't it? For entrepreneurs especially. Yeah,
and I think it comes also to the fact that I felt it before when I was, it wasn't my companies, and which is now I'm a solopreneur, so I'm really alone. It's funny, but I think it also comes to the fact that you have to make so many decisions. There's so much pressure, like thinking about how am I going to pay the salaries of my staff next month, and you think you are the only one who can make those decisions. And I think that adds to this feeling of isolation.
Yes.
You don't necessarily realize, and I see that with my clients, you don't necessarily realize that you're not the only one. So entrepreneurs, you're not alone, because a lot of people, most entrepreneurs, they are like you. They have the same issues. But what you need to be able to find out is you need to get out, of your cocoon, of your company, and reach out to people outside.
Yes.
So I guess this, Laurent, this opens up to the sort of bold statement you got next to you:
Yeah.
stop being the bottleneck in your business.
Yes. It's actually a good transition.
Yes, it's I suppose it's hard for entrepreneurs, isn't it, that they built this business up, they know it inside out, and some point it's time to let go, isn't it, and trust others. And you can get so wrapped up in it all, but it's just, I suppose, using the people around you to get you sort of on your path or to your end goal, isn't it?
Yeah. That's your role must evolve as the company scales up. That's clearly one of the biggest bottleneck symptoms that you would find out. For instance, you recruit a leadership team, but then you don't empower them with any decision making. So you end up making all the decisions by yourself, and you're wondering what the leadership team is doing. And so you end up very frustrated.
Yeah, or you make a bad decision, but because
Yep.
you don't have a leadership team who have any authority, you blame the leadership team, which is actually only ever going to cause angst, because those leadership teams say, well, if you'd let me do it, then I could have done it. You brought me in to be an expert. Let me be an expert.
Exactly.
It's funny. So listening to Jeff Bezos talking, and he said he spent every single penny he had on good people, bringing in good people and allowed them to do their work, which is, you can't be an expert in everything. You can be jack of all trades, but you can't be, you need experts around you in order to grow.
I think maybe there's a lack of, there's obviously so much help and support out there, but when you're going into business, you've got an idea, off you go. You have no idea on how to run, if it takes off, how to run any kind of large organization, let alone directors, teams, boards. It's massive, isn't it, Laurent?
It is. It is. It's the biggest adventure, and that's why I think, I have a podcast. I've interviewed like more than 100 entrepreneurs on the podcast, and also with all the people that I've been talking to. I really believe that entrepreneurship is a calling. It's like it's in you. You have it or you don't. There is no alternative. Like if you ask yourself the question, "Am I an entrepreneur?" chances are you're not, because you're already asking yourself the question. And so it is stronger than you. You like I said, you don't see any other alternative. So that's the number one thing. Like, start from the basic. Have the calling. Sometimes, like for myself, it just takes a bit of time to blossom. For me, in my case, it took like 18 years. But now I don't see a way out of that. That's plus I am totally unemployable. I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say that,
Same here.
Yeah, exactly. And the second thing that is really, really, really important is that entrepreneurship is a mindset. Like, it's technical skills are important. As an entrepreneur, you need business skills. Like, you need to learn what leadership is about. You need to be really good at financial management. You have no choice. You need to be really good at sales, etc. So you're going to have to learn all those skills. But the number one element that you need to pay attention to is your mindset. Because it requires, grit. Grit is this ability to fall down and get back up again and again and again and again.
It's the obviously call this place the Gritty Business Show. So one of my when I was going into entrepreneurship, after my big stint in being employed, running companies, etc. It was, I came across this term business grit, to keep getting up, it's hard. I don't want to do it. It's like, you got to do it, it's just that drive, isn't it? And that's essentially that phrase and that sort of expression of where I was to where I've got to go, and having that business grit was the foundation for the Gritty Business Show and the Cobra Club. So it's, all on those two words, business grit. It's, I know I can relate to that,
But that's why it's important to talk to other people in the same position as you, so you can realise it helps you to make a thing. You're not the only person who's falling over. Everyone is. You're not the only person who's financially struggling or doing well. Everybody is. So it's by communities like this, where you can sit and talk to other about it, and meeting people like Laurent who can come and speak to about it, actually gets that mindset right. And the fact that you say, I'm absolutely doing the right thing, even though I may have done the wrong thing recently, I've learned from it, and I'm moving forward. So that's actually a strength, not a weakness.
Exactly. Failure is part of the game. There's one thing I am sure of, that you're gonna fail.
Yeah. So it's going back to this bottleneck business, Laurent.
Yeah.
If I had to ask you now, your 3 top tips for not becoming the bottleneck in your business, or just that whole bottleneck business, and what should I do as a entrepreneur? I'm going to play this video. I'm going to give you 15 to 20 seconds to think about this, but what would be your 3 top tips for not becoming the bottleneck in your business?
All right.
It says, here we go.
Are we back?
3 top tips for about being a bottleneck or not a bottleneck in your business.
Okay, so number 1, I'm sure you've heard that before, and maybe you think it's like but you need to find your why. Clarity of direction is one of the biggest bottleneck. So the opposite of lacking clarity of direction is to have clarity of direction. And to be able to do that, you need to understand your purpose. Why did you create the company in the first place? It is so important. It's actually impact or purpose is actually a word that I keep on hearing entrepreneurs. It comes back over and again in all the conversations that I have with them. If you're not sure how to find your why, it's a very simple exercise you can do. Think about when you had the idea of your company. What is the story that brought you with this idea? What did you see in the market?
Yes.
Everybody has a great story, and this when you have the story, you become passionate about it. That's your why. When you don't know which direction to take, left, right, go back to that, because that will make everything else very, very clear. So that's my number 1 tip. My number 2 tip, we have already talked about it. So learn to let go, especially as the business grows. As an entrepreneur, you're gonna get from a space where you do everything by yourself to a place where you're gonna have to build something that does all the things for you. It cannot happen if you don't let go. As we mentioned about before, if you recruit people, well, let them do their work. I remember I had a client. He was afraid of. He was very much involved in project management, and he was telling me, "Well, I love managing clients," but actually, the real reason was that he was afraid of losing quality in terms of the standards of delivery to this client, right? So all the work that we did together is to show him that it was an opportunity for him to, if he was recruiting the right people, he could actually increase the quality of work, and he could do something else, like focusing on the big picture, which is my top tip number 3. You need to take a step back as much as you can, get that helicopter view or this holistic approach so that you can think about strategy. Where am I going? Why am I going there? How are we going to get there? A typical bottleneck issue is the fact that entrepreneurs, they got their heads into the day-to-day operations like that, like you're hitting a wall. Imagine if your body is against a wall, your head is against the wall, the chest is against the wall, you can't move. So if you look left and right or up, you can't see anything. You don't know where the exits are. You don't know how high is the wall. So what you need to do is you need to take 2-3 steps back so that you can see the length of the world, the height of the world, identify where the exits are, or maybe you can climb the wall. Think in terms of solutions. But that's what you need to do as an entrepreneur. This is your job. Take a step back, look at the big picture, make plans. That's it. That's my 3 tips.
We have some comments, by the way. I'll just chuck them at you. Thank you for those.
Yeah, brilliant.
We've got Mark Brown, the intuitive coach, has come back with an entrepreneur equals a person who sets up a business or business, taking on financial risk in the hope of profit. But he goes on to ask a question, which is, many have no intention of scaling. Does that still make them an entrepreneur?
It's a great question. Entrepreneurship entrepreneur is a French word. It comes from the verb entreprendre, which basically means do something. That's what it is. An entrepreneur is someone who does something. Whatever it means, whatever you want to do. Yeah. When you do something, you are entreprendre. So you're an entrepreneur.
Answer to this question, yes, is the answer.
Yes, it's the answer. And many entrepreneurs just do it with when they start, they don't even have great ideas of scaling, of becoming a unicorn.
That's exactly Mark Brown, though. See, he says, my business that I was in, I jumped and carried on doing a similar job for myself. So the forcing factors, just like you going to arm, etc. Actually, you didn't have that plan when you got there to be given the business or to be given running of the business. It was thrust upon you, made that decision to do it. That entrepreneurial mindset to actually say, yeah, actually, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, and I was very clear from the beginning why I wanted to do. My purpose has always been very, very clear. I spent a lot of time on finding it. That's why, but I remember one day, that was in August 2017, I think. I was at my parents' on vacation, and I woke up in the morning, and ta-da! I knew exactly what I would become. But it took me 1 year to get there. Just letting it in my brain, maturing. But my why is very, very clear, very important. Your why.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great story, isn't it? And
fantastic.
Yeah, so much wisdom there. I've got to give you that. That's
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It comes from life, doesn't it, Laurent? So you've they're not just book read, they're life led. So you can it's real advice. So it's important, I think, when you get advice from people, that you understand that they do actually understand what they're talking about. So a lot of people talk from a book. That's okay. It's good stuff in books. But actually, it's completely different if you put it into context and you actually.
But the books sometimes help you put words into what you feel.
Makes sense.
I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. Start with why, and since I read this book, I'm using the word why. Before that, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it. Hearing all the entrepreneurs talk, they use words. I often use the same words they use. They use the word impact a lot. They use the word why a lot. They use the word purpose a lot.
Yes.
And most of the time, it is always around helping people.
So someone like you, yes, you're driven by your own vision, etc. But and don't answer me yet. But you must have people out there in the wide world who've inspired you. So, it's all good to do it yourself, but actually to have people who have inspired you, near you, around you, that you know of, that you've heard of, actually can help to give you purpose. So before you answer my question, watch this little video. So who's your inspiration?
I've had several. I think these the owners of that first company in Laos, they were not an inspiration, but they gave me an opportunity,
Yes.
and I always be very thankful for that. Then when I moved to Cambodia, the entrepreneur who hired me, I used him as a mentor for many years. And the type of mentor what I like is when you feel stupid, he tells you something. He was telling me stuff, and I was like, huh. I didn't think about that, because I made so much progress thanks to him.
Yeah.
And today my inspiration is it comes a lot from my fiancée. Her name is Minna. I don't say that a lot, but not enough to her. But I really admire her. And I have another inspiration because I do a lot of sports. I mean, I'm into CrossFit a lot, and my hero in CrossFit is a guy named Jacinto. I think is in the US. He's 83-year-old.
Oh.
He goes to the gym to the CrossFit box every day. He posts pictures of him. I think he's the oldest competitor in the CrossFit games. And man, I am going to be like him when I am 83.
We're going to hold this video, right? And when you're 83, we'll play it again and say,
okay.
That's only about 3 years away, isn't it? So you're okay.
No, come on.
No. It's good. It's funny how people inspire. They're not always the best at what they do or, world champions, but just people who have that mindset that resonates with you, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find inspiration everywhere. You read books, watch a video. It's always like it changes all the time. Like I get inspired by many things, by many people, all the time. So it's a bit difficult to answer that question because I got so many sources of inspiration.
Andy and I will forever be inspired by the people we meet in the club. You take a step back when you meet people, and it's actually so rewarding just to hear other people's stories because it, like you say, it resonates. You pick it up, the gritty side of life, but also the success side, or just that clever thinking. You go, do you know what? That's such a clever idea, and it's refreshing to be around people who are driven, who decide to do things, and that's part of the spirit of the club. Really, it's full of people who are doing it, if you like, maybe, all at different levels, but they're actually deciding to make a difference. We talk quite often to people who are currently employed and are thinking of becoming self-employed. And when you see that journey of people, stepping out, if you like, into the wilderness and actually finding a purpose, and then you see them succeeding, it's a fantastic thing to watch. And to be able to help them along that journey if you possibly can is just so, it's not a financial reward, it's an inside reward. It's great.
And actually makes me think now that someone else who inspired me is one of my clients. I mean, my clients, I love working with my clients. My clients are the sources of inspiration for myself. But this guy, I've been working together with him for a year and a half. I am so proud to be his coach because he's so successful. He just sold his business for a lot of money. And I was part of that, a little bit at the end. And we still work together because now he has to figure out what he's going to do next. He's an entrepreneur, so what is he going to do next? Big question. So he put 20 years of effort into building his company, which he sold, and I was part of. And he still wants. He's been very grateful for my help. I'm like, man, you're so successful. Like I'm nobody compared to you, and this guy is just amazing, and yeah, he's another great source of inspiration.
Brilliant.
Just being with those sorts of people is a tonic, isn't it? I mean, it makes you
Yeah.
feel good. Just being in their presence. It is quite
Yeah.
amazing.
So, how would obviously in terms of the clients you work with, Laurent, how does it all work? How would I know if I'm your ideal client? What sort of client? Is there a specific type of person you're looking to work with? And yeah, if you could tell us a little bit about how that works.
Sure. So my ideal clients, usually they are, business owners, of course, industry, because my background is more in the B2B industry. They have like, they have been like business owner for maybe 5 years. Size of the business is anywhere between 10 to 50 staff, sometimes a little bit more. Revenue doesn't really matter. And well, it can be like maybe between 500-600K to more, but it's not the primary. It's not the primary element I'm looking at. What I'm really looking at is the people who understand that they have hit a wall, that they are stuck. They know that they are the bottleneck. And every time I sell you the bottleneck, yeah, not just know what the bottleneck. They want to do something about it, but somehow they don't know. And
When
they are looking for external help. This is really important because the ego is very strong with entrepreneurs. They need to be looking for external help. They need to be accepting the fact that help can actually solve their problem from an external source.
is that one of the biggest things to get over? It's not me, it's them. I'm trying, but my team is stopping me.
Yeah,
I've
that
got fantastic ideas, but no one understands me. And
yes, that and the fact that what I sell coaching is a little bit intangible. People don't really know what it is. They don't really know what the return on investment is.
yep,
Because I can't qualify the return on investment. I can't put a number there because most of the work I do is that I ask questions. I guide my clients, but my clients, they do all the work by themselves. So it depends a lot on their level of commitment and the work they're going to put into our sessions. But when they put the work, it does work because coaching is all about getting results. But the results might be long term. I have now clients coming back to me and they say, you remember that discussion we had 2 years ago? Well, now I can see why how it is paying off.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you see those coaches out there saying you'll get 5 times returns if you work with me, and I never believe it. It's it's down to the individual at the end of the day, isn't it? To want to change, and you've got to work within people's personalities a bit, and they might not be technical. They might love writing, whatever it is. Whatever their passion is trying to sort of get the best out of them in the way they work, I suppose. Do you find that, Laurent, or is it directing them down a path that they're never going to be able to follow?
It's everybody is unique. 8 billion people on the planet. Everybody is unique. You can see common patterns, but the way we interact with them, the way we react to it, is very unique to us. If take 2 entrepreneurs, right? They build the same. You give them the same tools. They build the same company. The results will be completely different. And so that's why I refuse to put people in a box. I refuse to put my clients in a box.
I think that goes back to what you were saying about why, because my why might be very different to Andy's why. My why might be that I want to retire at 55 and I want to go in a boat sailing around the world, and your why might be you want a big mansion in Mayfair. Everybody has a different why, and actually I think it's understanding that what is my, i.e. the coachee, not the coach, what is my interpretation of success? Because if success for me is paying off my mortgage, having a good pension, and then sailing in a boat, then let's get there to that point. And someone else's might be to be, Richard Branson or, wherever else they want to go to. But everybody has a different vision of what they want. And it's not, I would imagine it's not the coach's job to tell them what their vision is.
No.
It's the coach's job to help them to find out that vision and help them to manifest it, to make it exist.
Yeah, and then help them like put everything into a plan of action so they get things done, because that's really important. During the coaching sessions, we're going to find out stuff. We're going to find out blockages, and we're going to find out solutions to overcome those challenges. But the most important aspect is between each coaching session. Is at the end of the coaching session, you will leave with homework. The homework is your plan of action. Now you have to execute it. I am not going to be there behind you and say, hey, by the way, did you do your job? No,
You bad boy for not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You bad boy. Of course, I support my clients, in between coaching sessions. I support them, I follow them, I encourage them. But I'm not a father, I'm a coach.
Yeah. I think internally you have to have, I think you probably also I find that actually I'm the disciplinarian. I'm the one who tells myself off. I'm the one who actually, you can tell me off because I've got a big ego. But internally inside myself is that understanding that was a good day, Ed, or that was a good day, Ed, or you need to achieve this by then. And they're the goals that you set internally that actually make you get up in the morning and actually make you do things. And sometimes those goals are wrong, and you need guidance on how to reset those goals. And sometimes they're absolutely right. And actually, it's not wrong to say I didn't do it very well. I know I didn't do it very well, and you don't need a coach to tell you, that you've made a stupid mistake. But you do need someone who just says it's all right to make mistakes, and actually don't punish yourself too much, because then that's painful. But Let's move forwards with that bit of expertise, and it's the ability to be able to talk to someone almost like a confidant is so important in business, because you are.
Yeah, and the other benefit of having a coach is to use the coach as an accountability partner, because I will remind you what you said that you would do. I will. When you don't do it, I will be there. Hey, by the way, you said you would do that.
Oh, look, my video is not working.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Or I will remind you of the things that you said before.
Yeah.
And now if you change, the way you say things, if you change your mind, I want to understand why.
Is it big?
Sorry?
If I came to you as wanting help, what would that look like? How would we start a conversation together? How would I? Because coming to a coach is a big decision for someone to actually make. To actually commit to coming to a coach. So what does that look like? Does it cost me money to do that to begin with? How does it? Do I have a meeting with you? How do you typically work with someone?
So usually, if it's the first time that you have been never been into coaching before, we're gonna have a chat, and I would encourage you to try coaching. So I may end up like offering you 45 minutes to 1 hour coaching session, just so that you understand what it is, you understand whether or not it's for you, and also, very importantly, you feel that I can help you, because the relationship between my coaches, my clients, and me, the coach, is very, very, very important. It's critical, because you're going to talk in a coaching relationship. You're going to talk about a lot of personal stuff. It's all around business, but even though it's around business, we always address personal stuff. So you have to make sure that it's a safe environment when you're going to talk to me. Now, if we enter into a coaching relationship, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define what I call key success indicators. 3 of them. Because three is a good number. And those success indicators basically are the objective of the coaching relationship. For you, the coachee, it means it gives you objectives, it gives you goals.
Yeah.
For me, it provides direction. I know where we want to go. I know where you want to go, and I make sure that we don't divert too much. Right? That you reach. Remember, I said coaching is about delivering results. Well, those key success indicators are the results you want to achieve. And then we start the coaching. We agree on the coaching duration, which is minimum 6 months most of the time, because that's how long it takes. Sometimes 1 year, and we're going to meet on a regular basis every other week. In my case, for 1 hour, We're going to have a lot of discussion like that, exactly like that, except I talk less, a lot less. Ask a lot more questions, but I listen to the answer. I guide you towards the answer, and also I make you accountable. And at the end of each session, I make sure that you leave with homework. Very important, so that you get things done.
Be homework.
Brilliant.
And-
Well, go on, Laurent.
No. I was about to say, of course, I don't do that for free after. You're gonna have to pay me.
Absolutely not. Yes, but it's good to know that the first consultation is free. You know, meet you, find out who you are and what you do and how you do it and how you fit into all of that. I think it's great, but I know you've got a meeting to go to, Laurent, so I think probably
Yes.
it's time to sort of say goodbye, I suppose. But I found it fascinating today.
Me too.
So thank you so much for coming in. It's a lot of what you said obviously resonated with both of us. I could see it. Brilliant. I'd advise anyone to get in contact with Laurent. So thank you so much. So right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right, Laurent. We'll see you soon. Okay. All right. Take care.
Hey, you're out of the video.
Bye bye.
Keep dancing. Keep dancing, Andy, to the music. I can't stop. So listen, within the club, we've got a huge number of really, really good people.
Yes.
So if you had to choose one, which is really tricky to do, who would be like a hero of the week, who would you choose?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so my hero of this week, there's so many people to choose, and it's really difficult. But one person stands out this week as pulling it out of the bag and delivering on his promise, and that is going to be Logan Blackburn. Is it? If you're out there watching, Logan from Strogan Marketing, well done. Logan was instrumental behind our open day yesterday, which was a fantastic success. So congratulations, Logan from Strogan Marketing. So yes, so that's my hero of the week, Ed. But it's Friday and it's coming at the weekend, and I always ponder over the weekend. And really, what I'm looking for is some wise words to get me through the weekend. Yes.
I just put a picture of me in there. Good. Fantastic. So I'm going to go back in time to Eleanor Roosevelt, who in her own right was a very inspirational person, if you like. And a little bit, it's to do with what Laurent was saying, but also to do with the way the club works, which is you have to learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them yourself. and that's a direct quote from her, and it's so true. If you listen to what other people are doing, you can learn from their mistakes and learn how to handle it when it happens to you, or avoid those mistakes yourself, or do what they did better, but just move forwards, and that's part of the club. Part of networking is talking to other people, meeting inspirational people like Laurent, like Logan, we've got hundreds in the club, and going through it. And we were talking about heroes the other day. One of my heroes in the club is a lady called Louise Max, and we met Louise before we started the Cobra Club, didn't we, Eddie? And she was employed, and she was thinking about becoming a self-employed person. And we've watched her go from someone who was an employed person into a really successful businesswoman within a relatively very short space of time. And I'm forever inspired, humbled by the success of others that we see within the club. And I think a lot of that is learning from each other and making mistakes or asking questions and being allowed to get it wrong in a second environment. And that's part of what the Cobra Club delivers to people, I think.
Absolutely. And I've learned so much in there, and a lot of it for me is just that 5-minute passing where you're bumping into someone in there and you've got a question, and they'll spend a few minutes with you showing on their screen of how to do. For me, being a technical person, it's like, right, okay, and that takes me off down a different path where my strategy slightly changes, and I incorporate some of that into my sort of future sort of plans and stuff, and it just carries on day after day of meeting great people. Like I say, Louise came in, never been in business before.
But it is sometimes, you haven't got to spend a lot of time in the club if you don't want to, but just those meetings you have with people, they refresh you, they give you purpose, they give you vision, and you need that. It's not how big the businesses are, how small it is. It needs that vision and that view. And I've been lucky enough to have meetings with Laurent within the club, and every single time I learn something new, or you're reminded of things that you should know better. You know what I mean? So they keep you in check, and you go, absolutely. Do you know what? That's absolutely right. I mean, start with why is such a good point, and we all forget it. Daily, all the stuff that happens through a day, you just forget what am I actually doing, where am I actually going, and you need that direction, and it's just such a powerful place for doing that. Anybody who out there who would just like to come and experience that, they can come into the club. We're very the club's not about making money. The club's about supporting people. It genuinely is. So if you want to come into the club, you can come to any of the meetings. We can send you a link to them. If you want a virtual tour of the club, come in. We'll give you one for free. We'll show you around. But actually, even if you want to give it a go, come and give it a go. Come and get involved. We'll give you a couple of weeks free in the club if you want that, to come and experience it. So come to www.cobraclub.co.uk. I would advise you book a virtual tour. Come in and see what it's like. And for any business, the small cost of being part of the Cobra Club, as a proportion of your marketing spend, it's a drop in the ocean. You're coming here. I mean, there are people in here. I mean, you and I, we get all of our business from the Cobra Club. I mean, and there's so much here to so many people looking for help or looking for advice or looking to work with you, collaborating together to land deals. That it's the cheapest form of marketing you'll ever do, and one of the best things you can do for yourself.
Brilliant. Wise words there, Ed. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's nice. So we're roughly running out of time, Ed. So I think we should go into weekly events. Are you ready for this?
I am. I've got to unmute myself.
Okay, here we go.
Well, I always like to start the week off on a high. So coming on to Monday Motivation, which is the networking event between 9 and 10 run by me. Start your week the way you need to go on.
Awesome. Next up is Believe and Achieve, which is actually starting back in January, and that's weekly on Mondays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Come and organise your business mindset.
And then come along to the Coffee Collective with two of my favourite people, Christy Norris and Hannah Matarazzo. Just relax, chat over a cup of coffee, and get some business done together.
Brilliant. Next up, Mr. 00 Heaven himself, Mr. Zafran Khan. Monday Mayhem in Birmingham Central. So come along Monday nights and network with Zaf.
And then you could have met her today. Unfortunately, you can't. I hope you get better soon, Judith. Judith, we're at 10:30 to 11:30. She's an Inspiration Quest West business networking.
Also, next up, Mr. David McKenna. Hope you're feeling all right. Better now, David, with the Cobra Business Quiz every Tuesdays, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
And then one of those ones that I think everybody should go to, Wednesday morning, 9 till 10, Make It Happen Hub, business accountability. Laurent touched on it. It's a fantastic opportunity, and Elaine is an inspiration.
Next up, Mr. David Lockett. He'll help you put some money in your pocket with the Investment Lounge. Coffee, chat, knowledge and wealth, and that's what it's all about.
And then the biggie, meeting talents with myself, Andrew Hatcher, every Wednesday at 7 till 9.
Awesome. Next up, the Digital Hour with Yvonne Taylor every Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
She'll help you make money. She's fantastic. And then if you want to generate some business, come along on a Thursday between 12 and 1 to the Network Business Generator with Kath Kirtland.
Awesome. Next up, we have the Cobra Strike with the 300 Club with Chris Mason. Business networking every Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
And then start your Fridays just inspired with the inspiration who is Louise Montblanc. She'll get you thinking and give you books, etc. 8 till 9 every Friday. Great.
Next up, the Cobra Express every Friday, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Currently being hosted by David and Joanna.
And then Fishing Week, it's a week in fantastic style with Liz Whitmore on the wind down, Sharon Ritchie, 4 till 5:30. Our Scottish Legion.
But there's more, Ed. There's the Property Club every month. This month on the 16th of December. So that's going to be good. Property and construction folk.
And then every day we have a mixer at between 12 o'clock. We can just come in and socialise with different people at the club.
Yep. So plenty going on. But where come and join us? But where do they come and join us, Ed?
Well, they come to www.thecobraclub.co.uk, flashing across the bottom of your screen. You can email either Andrew or I. It's andrew@thecobraclub.co.uk, or you can come along and you can email Ed. Depends who you want to speak to, really, isn't it? At thecobraclub.co.uk, and we'll chat to you about the club, answer any questions you've got. But I'd advise just come for a virtual tour and come and give us a go. It's a great spot. Best networking you'll ever do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ed. It's been a great show. Thanks to Laurent. Thanks to everyone who helped out this week and all the fantastic people we met inside the Cobra Club.
Mara, Logan, just fantastic.
All the club leaders, Hannah for doing marketing, and onwards and upwards.
Thank you, you do fantastic videos, and we love you lots.
Yeah, awesome. Right, guys, that's it for us. So we'll be back on the 6th of January now. So we're going to have a month off. Yeah, so we're going to time to put our feet up, Ed.
What is it? Funny time of year, is it? Is something happening this month?
Yeah, it is actually.
What day is again this month?
Anyhow, right.
2 times.
Yeah, cool.
Over.
See you guys. Over and out.
Now you're watching me. Yeah, all eyes on me. 'Cause I've been living the good life. So come fly with me into my fantasy. And we be loving the good life, good life.
I think this dream now just hit me. Why don't you just go there with me? Surfing the skies and splash in the clouds. Dance in the crowds and laugh out loud. Holding your hand, unfolding a plan. 2 souls in a land like gold in a pan. Float in the breeze or soak in the sea. Come go there with me where we both wanna be. Lie on the beach or fly in the streets. I'm trying to keep this vine in the reach. Putting everything I do aside, me and you approach. We can travel to the very end of the universe. You and me are meant to be divine energy. Living with no rules in a pool of serenity. Come be my fantasy, go away with me. Lock us up in a dream and throw away the key. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. Come on, live this up now. Good life, good laugh, good love now. Come on, live this with me. Good laugh, good love, we live free. We need to rise with these new eyes. Pull the disguise off of these blue skies. Lights in the city reflect off the shoreline. When you're living this life, you want more time. Rewind the time, align planets. Ride this comet to a new dynamic. Your eyes on me, mine on you. Living the good life. We do what
Now
we
you
do